What's going on, guys? It is Bernardo, and you just saw a quick unboxing on Lenovo's ThinkPad X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop. So what comes inside the box? So we have our ThinkPad X1 Yoga Generation 6 setup guide. Cool. We have our safety and information. And we also have our ThinkPad smart feature kind of pamphlet that gives you the highlights of what this machine is able to do. We have our power cable, and we have our 65-watt power adapter with a Type-C connection. Now I'm going to take the power cable and connect it to the power adapter. How easy was that? Let's put this stuff to the side. And last but not least, we have the beautiful ThinkPad X1 Yoga Generation 6, weighing around 3.15 pounds with a thickness of 0.69 inches. Now, if you have the laptop facing you to the point that you're able to open it up like this, on your right-hand side, we have the pen holder slot, which is actually housing the ThinkPad Pen Pro. We also have the combo audio jack, and we have one 3.2 USB port, always on charging. On your left hand side, we have one HDMI port, one 3.2 USB port, and then two Thunderbolt 4 ports. And one of those ports actually allows you to hook up your power adapter. All right, so let's open this guy up and power it on and go over some of the features. All right, so we just went over some of the ports on the X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop. Let's open this guy up real slow. Awesome, look at that beautiful 14-inch display. Now the power button is actually located right here on top. And one of the cool features of this particular laptop is that the fingerprint scanner is embedded inside of the power button. So as soon as you power this guy on, it's going to automatically authorize itself and log you in. So let's power it on. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the trackpad on the ThinkPad X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop. Now, if you want to know the measurement of the trackpad, it is around 4.33 inches. When I was using the trackpad, I did not have any issues at all. It just basically works. I did find myself using a USB mouse half the time, but when I was traveling with the laptop, I did take advantage of the track point, which is located within the keyboard. Now, the keyboard itself is super responsive. I didn't have any issues at all on this particular keyboard, which is great. Now, if you want to know the key distance between each key, it's around 0.12 inches, which is really standard with a lot of laptops in the market. Now, the keyboard is backlit and it's white. I did find that the backlit feature wasn't too bright, but you do have it there, and it's about 2 settings. Now, for speakers on the X1 Yoga, you actually have speakers right here on your right-hand side and your left side, as well as the bottom of the laptop. The loudest that I got on the speakers was around 92.5 decibels. Now, for the display on the X1 Yoga, we are rocking a 14-inch IPS display. Now, this model actually has anti-reflection and anti-smudge layer on top of the display. The anti-reflection, I did notice it when I was using it in bright areas, especially now. But the anti-smudge, yeah, this guy really gets a lot of fingerprints. Again, it is touchscreen because it does have the ThinkPad Pro pen, but when you're touching the screen, it gets really, really dirty. Now, the resolution on this display is around 3840 by 2400. The scaling on the display by default, it's 300, but I didn't really like the 300%. So if you scale it down to maybe 225 to 200, I feel like that's the best scaling on this particular display. Now, the brightness right now for this particular model, I think this is the highest right now, and this is the lowest that you could go. If you want to know about nits, it's around 500 nits. Now, this particular model does have HDR enabled. Make sure that you plug it in so you could turn it on and enjoy that particular feature, which is great. You can actually turn it on within the display settings on the Windows operating system. At the very top of the display, we have a 720p webcam. And this model actually has the privacy guard, which allows you to, slide it to the left and right. The guard itself was really easy, sliding it to the right and left, which is awesome. I didn't really have to dig in there to, slide it. at the very top of the display right here on the edge, we have 4 360-degree far field mics, which works extremely well when you're doing like Microsoft Teams meetings or Zoom meetings. It picks everything up. Okay, so we just talked about the trackpad, keyboard, and the display on the X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop. So let's talk about the ThinkPad Pen Pro, which is actually located on your right-hand side. We're going to remove it right now. Awesome. This is the pen. Cool. Now, for the pen, using it, I didn't really have a lot of issues. And the only time that I actually had issues was when I was in Photoshop and I was doing like quick markups on it. I felt like there's a little lag on it, but it does what it needs to do when you need to do something really quick. Now, I did have some trouble when the laptop was in tablet mode and I was holding it with one hand. I just felt a little bit uncomfortable because the laptop doesn't have a lot of space to actually hold it. Your palm is actually touching the display, and you know, it just doesn't feel right. So the X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop was sent to me to do a review, and the specifications on this machine was on point for me to do everything that I need to do, like render and edit 4K video within Premiere. And I really had a lot of fun actually using this machine to do my day-to-day stuff. So let's take a closer look on the specifications. So if I right click on the taskbar and go inside Task Manager, let's go inside the Performance tab. Let's open this window up. Let's right click on the CPU and change the graph to logical processor. Now this machine actually has one socket, 4 cores, 8 logical processors, and it's running 11th gen Intel Core i7 1185 G7 processor with a clock speed of 3.0 gigahertz. Now for memory, it comes with 16 gigs, and from my understanding, I think the max that you could get is up to 32 gigs when you're purchasing it at the Lenovo site. For hard drive space, this one actually came with about 512 gigs of solid state drive, and for the graphics card, it came with the Intel Iris Xe graphics card. Again, with the specifications on this machine, I was able to edit and render 4K video. I did have some issues when I was editing 4K video on this laptop when it was not plugged in, but once I plugged it in, it was just running smoothly with no issue. Now for heating on this particular machine, I didn't notice at all. When I took the temperature, I got between 82 to 85 degrees, and that's not that bad. Now for every laptop review that I like to do for you guys, I like to run PC Mark 10 to do some battery testing. And for this particular machine, I ran it 4 times. I typically do it 3 times. And the reason why I did that is because on the first test, the modern office battery life, it lasts around 3 hours and 44 minutes. And I was saying to myself, like, wait a minute, that's just too low. So I ran it again and it lasted around 5 hours and 41 minutes. So I was pretty satisfied with this result. Now, don't get me wrong, when I first ran PC Mark 10, it was fully charged, but 3 hours was just too low. Now, on my next test, I actually ran video and 6 hours and 55 minutes, which is not that bad, just running video and audio. And then last but not least, I did gaming, and it only lasts 2 hours and 17 minutes. All right, so let's conclude our review on the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop. So a couple of things I like about this laptop is its smart features. And one of the smart features that I like about this X1 is that it actually detects when you're close to it and it will automatically unlock. You are able to hook it up to external monitors, either an HDMI connection or Type-C connection. Unfortunately, I did not have a Type-C monitor to hook it up natively. I did have a Type-C to HDMI adapter, and the 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports that it does house, you're able to take advantage of both of them. Now, the starting price for the X1 Yoga is around $1,500, and it all depends how you get it spec'd out at the Lenovo site. Now, the size is pretty nice for traveling purposes, weighing around 3.15 pounds. For me, it's a lightweight, and it's great for day-to-day workflow, going to Zoom, doing Teams, doing some Microsoft stuff, opening up Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and doing quick markups. The ThinkPad Pen Pro is a nice touch, but for me, when I was using it within Photoshop, it was a little laggy for me, but I think if I go inside the Windows operating system and tweak the settings, I could probably get better performance on the pen. Overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed this review on the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga Generation 6 2-in-1 laptop, and I catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.